Hello, what is up guys, I'm your host Gordon and welcome to another one of my video. And today finally we got ourselves a BlueBird Mark 3, but anyway I'm calling this the rip-off Mark 2 of the fake Mark 2. And you know what? Today we are also going to compare it with an actual real Mark II. I know a lot of you has been waiting for this video ever since that this blaster came out. I received a lot of message, I received a lot of DMs. I hear you guys, therefore I'm delivering this video for you guys. And getting this blaster is not an easy task compared to other blasters. That is why I really have to thank MECH POTATO for helping me to obtain this blaster for the sake of today's video. To those who do not know who is MECH POTATO is a local Malaysia foam dart blaster seller who sells rare imported foam dart blaster just like the XM1014 and various kind of shell ejecting blaster. Feel free to visit MECH POTATO and the link is in the description down below. In the box, we got the blaster itself, a pair of speed loader, a speed loader holster, 18 darts, and a manual. Okay, let us take a closer look at the wordings of this blaster. Over here, it says Super Gun Pro instead of DartZone Pro. And then under the slider, instead of powered by PTDZ, it says Super Powered. And of course, at the hand grip over here, instead of Mark II, we got Mark III. And I was like, what? Let's start off with the material comparison. The rip-off version uses nylon and then the original version uses like really high quality plastic. Right off the bat, I can obviously feel that the rip-off version is slightly heavier because nylon is a kind of heavy material. And there's one downside of using nylon material is that it gets dirty really easily. Like my unit over here already got stained at the top and at the Picatinny rail over here. The build quality wise, both of them felt pretty similar. There's no wiggly, there's no plasticky noise. And of course, not to mention that the plastic texture on the original Mark II felt nice to touch. The molding of the rip-off version is pretty rough. Basically, the factory does not really smooth out the molding line really well. If we compare it with the original one, the molding line is of course way smoother than the rip-off version. Because of the molding lines was not smooth enough, it kinda scratched my fingers a little bit over here. Okay, let's put the molding line aside. The rip-off version even have a gap at the iron side over here, which I personally think that is not aesthetically pleasing. Next, let's talk about the trigger. Of course, I personally felt that the trigger at the original version is nice and clicky, unlike the rip-off version is heavy and rough. I think this is more of a personal preference, but I really love clicky triggers like the original version. And let's compare the metal plate installed at the hand grip. The paint on the metal plate on the original version still looks as good as new, even though it'd been through a couple of games. But out of the box, the rip-off version already got a couple of chips. Again, it's not a deal breaker, but it is not aesthetically pleasing. And another one of the most important aspects for me is loading the darts. Loading the darts in the original Mark II is smooth and easy to load, but loading the darts in the rip-off version is a different story. You really do need to use some force to actually push in the darts. And of course, it is not as smooth as the original one. And after you load the darts, pushing the slider to chamber the dart felt rather rough. And this will definitely never happen in the original version. And again, this is of course personal preference. I'm the kind of person who really like things to, work out smoothly. I don't like to muscle things up. And then we got the speed loader. This is the original speed loader and this is the rip-off speed loader. And what a surprise, both of this speed loader literally felt the same, looks like the same, and this is what I call the true definition of ripping off. The only two difference that I found is the color difference, and of course the spring in the fake one is slightly stiffer than the spring in the original one. I'm not sure if it is a good thing or not, but it is a difference. And do you know what is the most surprising thing? The rip-off speed loader can be used in the original one, and the real speed loader can be used in the rip-off one. And holy moly, speaking of rip-off 1-to-1, we got ourselves the holster over here. It might look the same, the material felt like it is the same material. This is not nylon, this is basically the same kind of plastic, I'm not even joking. But the rip-off speed loader can't even fit in the rip-off speed loader holster unless you try to rough it in. What is this? And of course, even the real speed loader is unable to fit in. And this is funny, the rip-off speed loader is able to fit in the real speed loader holster. And of course, this felt a lot smoother. The rip-off one, of course, felt rougher. And can the rip-off blaster goes into the original holster? The answer is yes. But it is hard to pull out. And can the rip-off blaster use the original blaster extender? The answer is yes. And it comes out a little too easily. And of course, both of these blasters have aluminum barrel, just that the fake one looks a bit rougher. The priming of the original one felt a lot harder, so of course this is expected to shoot a lot harder. And the priming of the fake version is a little too soft, so I think the performance is of course not going to be on par with the original version. Okay, enough with the comparison, let us waste no more time and straight go to the testing. Since the rip-off versions only come with really crappy half-length darts, to be fair, I'm gonna test both of these blasters with DartZone Max darts, which is, in my point of view, is a superior dart. Therefore, without further ado, let us go test these blasters out. Oh yeah! For the accuracy test, 10 meters is as far as I can go because I'm not staying in a very big apartment. Okay, so the performance of both of this blaster is of course no surprise to me. Let us straight hop on to the result. The fake version over here only shoots from 83 FPS all the way to 91 FPS. Well, I heard some of my viewers say that the regulation over there are kind of strict, they does not really allow high FPS blaster. Maybe that's the case. But anyway, this is the out-of-the-box performance. The real Mark II, by the way, can shoot from 149 FPS all the way to 163 FPS. And that is a really huge performance gap. The accuracy of both of these blasters, to me, they are more or less the same, just that due to this blaster having slightly lower FPS, I need to angle it a little bit higher so that it can hit its target. And here comes the elephant in the room, the price. And of course, the original Mark II is going to be more expensive because it is well put together, operating the blaster is smooth, the finishing is perfect, and of course you get superior performance. The rip-off version though is of course a lot cheaper than the original version, but of course you get a rough finishing, a not so smooth operation, and of course a huge gap in performance differences. Moreover, you are not even receiving the additional blaster extension as well as the blaster holster. And not to mention that you receive a non-functioning speed loader holster, and of course you are not receiving additional O-rings as well. But then you get what you pay for. So to support the original one or to go for the rip-off version, it is your call. So yep, that's all today guys. Like this video if you like it, dislike this video if you didn't like it, subscribe if you haven't already, and of course, I'm gonna see you in the next video. Adios guys!